Yo, the Rockies swept the Astros,
Yeah, they did.
and they're giving
All right.
Padres all they can handle so far.
Shall we talk about the Marlins and how they're doing?
We'll,
No,
we'll
Why
get to
not, pray
that.
tell?
We'll get to that shortly. You guys see us on your screen. We're here to talk baseball, late night talk. Sounds like the boys want to talk about the Marlins. We'll see. But you guys see us on the screen. Tito right here.
fuck you.
Baseball. About to talk some baseball. Ty, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Oh man, everything's great here in the valley. We're pretty much skip spring. We're into summer already. It's hot, but just happy to be here. To quote Storms, happy to talk baseball with my brothers.
Let's do it. Storms, what's up, bro?
Must be nice to have summer out there in Arizona already. We It was actually almost 80 degrees here today, which hell, yesterday was 42. But like Ty said, I'm just happy to be here, man. It's been a minute since we've done this with regularity, and I'm looking forward to getting back to it.
Let's do it. Baseball is that time of year. And as you guys see on your screen, what Storms has a photo of, and it's Jo Adell. What an incredible game he had on Saturday. Uh, well, we're going to talk about it. Let's get to it. Single-handedly won the game. They won 1-0 that game and robbed 3 home runs. If I'm not mistaken, it was Naylor, Crawford, and Cal Riley, the first one he did in the first inning, which out of all three, the third one where he went over the fence and caught the ball is the photo that you're seeing because he's in the stands. Was amazing. Go ahead, Storms.
Is this is this the coldest baseball photo ever taken?
It's definitely up there. It has to be one of the best. I mean, when do you ever see a player taking a photo in the stands with?
My favorite part of it though is not just the perspective of it and him standing, outside of the field of play, but you can see the entire Angels team in the
Oh yeah,
photo behind him.
yeah, that's dope. What you got to say about what happened to the reaction and all that, man?
So what I'm going to say is the Angels as a team, or maybe just Joe Adell himself, traveled back in time to 1994 and got in touch with Christopher Lloyd and some other Angels to make that happen. That was Angels in the outfield, literally.
It could happen, man.
You used to
Listen,
be Mel Clark.
George Knox was in the building somewhere. Where is Danny Glover? He
George
was there.
Knox.
man. That catch alone, the third catch is amazing, but let's not live it short. I mean, the first two, how about that? Just him jumping up and he went up in the air and robbed three solo shots, but the first two were great as well. I mean, the third just took the cake because, well, you can see the photo. The stands, the when as a baseball fan, you take a glove expecting to catch a baseball, not to be able to cheer with your favorite player in the stands. That was amazing. Their reaction there in right field was great, Storms. You can see the fans right next to him.
Was this the greatest catch of all time?
Nah, I wouldn't take it that far. It's hard to say, man. I mean, there's a lot of catches out there. I mean, really, Mays just going, over the shoulder still is one of the best. Ken Griffey going up to the wall. Bo Jackson, climbing the wall and going in. There's a lot of them out there. It's hard to say is the best one ever, but the best single game for an outfielder ever, quite possibly with those three catches
Oh,
and
I,
win.
I don't I don't think that's even close.
There you go. Do you label it as the best catch ever?
Ooh.
I think I think it is firmly in the conversation.
But is that because he had three of them, or because just that catch was amazing?
I think I think it stands on its own in the conversation for that. I mean, he those other catches were all great, including the one that I still think is the greatest catch of all time, which is Tim Salmon's over the shoulder diving catch in
Yeah.
center field. But I mean, the fact that like this was not just a home run robbery. He went all the way out of the field of play, flipped over the wall, held on to it. You could argue that it may be the farthest gone ball ever pulled back.
Yeah. I mean, it's rare to see, and even the commentators, I don't know if you were watching, they were saying, "Oh, it's a home run," and they were arguing back and forth until the ump made the call. Ty, what you got to say about the catch, man, and well, about it being the best catch ever? Where do you put it up there?
I mean, it's definitely up there. Now, Griffey, whoa, how
Mm.
high did he get? Whoa, that was like, I mean, and the fact that, I would say if you were to do a Mount Rushmore, could Storms has a point, like it's up there without question now, and that's without the recency bias or the context of 3 home runs being stolen. But you have the catch, which that happened way before we even thought of, and people still talk about the catch.
Mhm.
And Griffey stood the test of time too. These are signature plays, signature moments in baseball. So
I like the Mount Rushmore idea. We have named 3 other catches. Can you think of a fourth that should go over it?
I don't know about over it, but how about the catch we saw last year from the center fielder from the A's, Butler, when he went over the wall, climbed the wall, and brought the home run back? That was great too. Don't forget that. That was a great catch.
and then what about diving catches? There's been so much spectacular diving catches. Do we really value the stretch out diving catch over the shoulder or climbing the wall? Do we give the diving catch a spot? Should we?
I think I think the obvious part, the home run robbery gets assigned more value, obviously, because it takes away at least one automatic run,
Hmm.
right?
Mhm.
But but should it automatically get assigned more value than a higher difficulty catch?
I don't think so. To me, I don't think so. I mean, I would say the difficulty of the catch would counter that. You know what I mean? I would say it
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
metrics wise, obviously it should, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right, right, exactly. So let's stick on the subject at hand and well, the team at hand, the Angels, excuse me. So not only did we have a player that robbed 3 home runs, we had a player that got hit by a pitcher, which he has a lot of success off of, which was Soler charging at Lopez. Not only did he charge him, they both got thrown out. But the reason why he got hit, Ty, and I'm gonna throw it over to you, is because before that, the first at bat he hit a home run, but he had a like a 13. I don't know what it was, Storms. You told me before the show, 13 for 30
I
something,
think it was 13 for 37 with 5 home runs.
and he hit his sixth in that game, and then he got plunked. Well, what you got to say about that? So the Angels are giving us 2 iconic photos, and it's only April 9th. What a
Yep.
season so far.
All right. So obviously, it was serious because benches cleared, and if I recall, didn't they both get suspended 7 games?
They did, but both of their suspensions got reduced to 5 games, which there's a little bit of controversy over that because essentially Lopez doesn't even miss a start. He just gets an extra day of rest.
So, but
And
with
so
the
there's no real suspension for him, which I disagree with.
was this reduced before or after an appeal?
I I just heard about it today.
All right, Ty.
All right. So to set the stage for what happened here and why this is so juicy, first of all, they used to be teammates.
Yes.
What was happening there? When they were playing for the same team. I mean, was there bad blood because of that? Who knows? But historically, Soler has owned Lopez. 14 for 23 against him with 5 home runs, 3 doubles. So allegedly, what transpired up until the second at bat and the hit by pitch was there were some words exchanged. So I don't know what exactly was said between the two, but
So Soler was asked about that, and I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't. I so this was something that I heard on the radio, and I didn't hear the whole thing. But Soler said something to Lopez, and and then he was asked like what kicked it off. So he said something to Lopez, and he said, "I didn't like his response."
So
exactly.
let me give you the quote. So this is from Soler, and I quote, I asked him if everything was okay, and the answer he gave me, I didn't like. That's why I went out there. Quote. So it wasn't that he was upset that he got hit by the pitch. It was the answer that he gave him after he got hit by the pitch. So go ahead.
So, but it was basically, "What's your fucking problem? My problem is you're a bitch."
Basically, basically.
Essentially, but Lopez said it wasn't intentional. Lopez said he didn't mean to, but Solera's like, come on, I just hit a home run off of you. I own you. Like,
Did you guys see Walt Weiss tackle Soler?
I did. Hey,
Yeah.
did you know that Walt
I
Weiss actually practiced MMA? That
so
came
yeah,
in.
that's what I was gonna say.
What?
I didn't know this
Yeah.
until today, but apparently he is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor in the off season.
Yep. It came into play. But go ahead, Ty, finish your thought.
let's just end at this. First of all, the fight happens. I don't think anybody won. Both of them were missing punches like crazy. But I will say this. I was impressed that Lopez still had the ball in his hand and was still throwing punches. I thought that was pretty impressive.
That is something I've never seen before.
Right?
I
So,
don't.
question, que- does that count as a hit by pitch?
2 times.
Two times. Two times.
In one at bat.
Oh man, what you got to say about that situation, Storms?
Hmm?
What you got to say about the situation at hand with the fight with the
I,
brawl?
I mean, it was wild, but these guys are teammates. I don't know, man. I don't think there's really that much to it. I think it was just, you know, they both got a little hot under the collar, and
Hmm.
boys will be boys kind of deal.
I think it was one of those things that Soler knows his numbers against Lopez, and he just thought, hey, he's throwing at me because I hit well
Well,
for him. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, and that was another thing. I heard a little excerpt of interview with Weiss, and he was like, throwing at players because they've had success against them is not something that I would allow my pitchers to do. So I just think the whole thing was a misunderstanding, and shit like this happens in baseball from time to time, and guys move on.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. That's what they do. Now we're gonna move on to another topic here, which we've gone back and forth talking about. And as you see my name, I want that Connor Griffin money. And he got paid. And he got paid 2 games into his professional career, getting
No, he signed that contract before his debut,
did he? Well,
or maybe he just agreed to it before his debut and signed it after. But
well, the important thing
but
is
the deal was done before his debut.
the important thing
That's
is
why it was a record-setting deal.
my man's is getting paid. 9 years, 140 million. And don't look now, like Storms just said in our chat, the Pirates are building something. And not only is that a great contract for them, but they're not the only team to do it this year because the Seattle Mariners has also done it with their shortstop. Cole Emerson, giving him an 8-year, $95 million deal. And I said this before coming on the show. I think this is the way that small market teams are going to be able to keep their players longer. We saw the Braves do it with top-notch players, all beasts, and then a lot of players. That Harrison, he got his contract out there, and they continue to do it every year.
Reds have opened negotiations with South Stewart too.
See, there you go. And if you're the Pirates and you're thinking about the future, and the future you're thinking about is Paul Skenes, this is the way to retain players in their prime or even before their prime and pay them less, because we know that inflation happens, and in 4 years, ball players are going to be getting paid more. Whoever thought that we'd be this close to seeing a billion-dollar contract? But Storms, what you got to say?
Oh, I'm just waiting for that segue.
So we are opening up actually a new segment which Storms is going to introduce to us today, and we're going to debate two of the players that we just talked about on the Pirates right here. Storms, why don't you kick it away and let us know what we're going to do, how this is going to work, and these guys, so we can pay attention and what the hell we're going to do here.
So this new segment is called This or That, and basically the way it works is I will make Ty and Jorge decide between one of two different things. But what it is I'm going to assign each one of them a side to argue on this debate. Neither one of them is going to know which side they're arguing for until I reveal it on air. And then at the end of it, whichever one makes their case better, I'll decide who the winner is. And at the end of the season, we'll tally them up and see who wins. So the prize is you win this or that. So nice. Today's topic, we are going to turn the clock back about a week and pretend for a moment that Connor Griffin has not yet been offered an extension. So you are Don Kelly, aka Pirates general manager, and you have been authorized by ownership and assigned to make the decision of whether to extend Connor Griffin or Paul Skenes. Now, obviously, we know what contract Connor got. 9 years, $140 million. He's 19 years old. Skenes is 24. Is that right? Was it 24 or 23?
About to turn 24.
24, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, Jorge, you're going to be arguing to sign Skenes. Ty, you're going to be arguing that Connor Griffin is the correct choice. So you gotta present your argument. You need to convince me as the owner to go with your decision. So Jorge, kick it off.
All right. Well, since I'm arguing for Skenes, all I gotta say is he's already won us a Cy Young. He was NL Rookie of the Year his first year. One of the best pitchers in baseball. We know what he has. We know what he can do. Why do we have to rely or go out and sign somebody that's in the minor league and we don't know what he's gonna do in the show? He has put up incredible numbers. We can build around him. We have a piece in our rotation. We have other arms. We need to keep him at the front line of our rotation. Obviously, a Cy Young candidate. He can have a complete game every time he touches the ball. We need to put pieces around him, and the main focus is him. Now, if we do not sign him now and we sign him in 4 years, his contract is only going to go up. Like I said before, and I said earlier, inflation happens. Right now, he'll probably average an AAV of about 35 a year. We don't want it to hit 45, 50 because it's going there, projecting to go there, especially for a high-end starter as Skenes is. And we need to keep him in our rotations, boss. So please sign him. Do it today.
Okay, Jorge, I have a couple of questions.
Let's go.
What is this going to cost me overall, and how long are you thinking that will be committed?
We should be committed for him at least 8 years. So if we're gonna give him a contract because his
Don't
contract is out,
don't give me the contract we want from him. Give me the contract we're going to get from him.
the contract we're gonna get from him would be all right, let's do it. Let's do 9 years, average 30, 38 right now. Make him the highest AAV pitcher in the league right now. 38, 8 years. Let's give him that contract. He's 24. Let's take him to 32. That's the contract that we'll give him.
All right. Ty, why should I sign Connor Griffin?
If we sign Connor Griffin right now, we have our franchise piece and cornerstone to build around. We've already made some moves and acquiring talent this offseason to show that we're serious about ending the longest postseason drought since 2015. We've been missing out. So with that being said, let's look to our future, but also stay present. And let me set a prime example of how it worked out for another teenage position player. You remember Juan Soto in 2018? How did he turn out?
Indeed, I do.
So when you have a generational talent at one of the most prime positions and the most important positions in baseball, why not invest now? And on top of that, if we do this and he pans out, he wins Rookie of the Year, he wins MVPs, we could actually get a draft incentive for that. So it's a win-win, a no-brainer to me. Pay him. Let's give him the money.
Can I have the rebuttal to that, please?
By all means.
Why are
This
we
is a debate, sir.
Why are we going with the question mark when we already have a proven ace? We don't know what we're going to get out of him in the next 9 years. We know what we got from Skenes in his first two, and he hasn't even hit his stride. So, one of the best pitchers in baseball, you're going to let him walk away like the Mets did with DeGrom for nothing? You have to sign him now and sign him before he gets too expensive for Pittsburgh to be able to sign him, because that's what's going to happen.
Allow me to retort, in the words of a great hitman in a Quentin Tarantino film. Who's going to reset the market first? Scooble. When Scooble signs, you know how much that's going to be? Enough to make us go broke. You want to pay Skenes $50 million a year? Possibly at the low end? You want Skenes to have a Yamamoto contract or get paid more than Yamamoto? For someone who's not going to play every day, who can get us wins, but can he bring us a playoff berth, a championship, a pennant? What are we talking about here?
So thank you for making my argument right there, because Yamamoto did just help the Dodgers win the World Series. Yamamoto was the best pitcher in the World Series. We saw what he can do. Why not do the same thing with Skenes? And before Scooble resets the market, we sign him to a lower end AVV and give him that money and make sure that he doesn't make the Scooble money, and make sure that we're able to keep him in Pittsburgh where he belongs, at the head of the rotation, where we have three solid arms behind him now, and keep him there at front line of the rotation.
And to that, I say this. Homegrown talent is important. If we invest in the 19-year-old kid who we just drafted first overall and show him that we're willing to do what has never been done in Pittsburgh Pirates history, and giving this amount of money to one of our premier future stars, what does that say to Skenes? It says we're committed to being competitive. Do we need to mention that he wants to win and he's a winner? We have to show him that we're committed to doing that. And this could be something that tilts Skenes into our favor to want to stay with us. Let's lock up our future first and still honor the present. And I'm willing to bet Skenes will want to stay up and remain a Pirate.
Ooh, I like it. All right, Storms. We've said enough.
Jorge, wait, I got
Ah,
another question.
shit.
Let me cook. Let me cook.
So here's my question.
What's up?
Obviously, Skenes is already established as a top three, if we're being generous, or if we're being conservative. I'm sorry, pitcher in today's game,
Yep.
right?
Right.
But I need you to convince me how an elite pitcher every fifth day is more valuable than potentially an elite shortstop every day.
Hmm. Well, I can tell you how that can work. Well, you ever need a stopper? We ever have routes or droughts where we can't score any runs? Yeah, we are Pittsburgh. We don't get a lot of offense. Skenes ever goes every fifth day and can throw a complete game shutout. We're not going to score 8, 9 runs a game. We can score two or one with Skenes on the hill every fifth game and win that game. We're not going to have offensive numbers and offensive explosions every game, but we do have Skenes to come out and possibly throw a complete game, if not at the very least a quality start, which is 6 innings. We need to make sure we sign him and keep him every fifth day. He is important to keep there. We do not have an ace anywhere in our farm system or in our rotation. We can get another shortstop or move somebody, shift somebody over to the shortstop. We need him, a Cy Young winner, to take the ball every fifth day and be that closer and be that stopper. Because in Pittsburgh, we've seen that offense doesn't last, but with Skenes, pitching is there every fifth day.
Okay, that raises another question for me.
Mm-hmm.
Bubba Chandler can't be an ace?
Sure, but is he? You said he can't be an ace. Is he? No, not yet. Skenes is.
Ty, anything else to add before I make my decision?
Now, my peer here has made a valid point. Aces are hard to find, but how often do you get a lineup at this price, this grade of hitting at a discount? Look who we've just added this offseason, and how we were able to add them was because we're not paying someone 50 million annually. Do I need to mention that we went after O'Hearn, that we got low? We spit well. And with that, we're being taken seriously for a very long time. I can remember from us being taken seriously. The time is now. We're showing that you're ready as an owner to put the foot on the gas. But this doesn't mean we have to move at a Ferrari pace or a Maserati. We can move slowly, but still be effective and still be premier enough to bring fans, drive more revenue, and then even make more big splashes. I say quality over quantity. Modest works. Look at our record now.
Faith without works is dead, right?
It's your wallet, sir.
You know what? I hate to say it because I love Paul Skeens as much as the next All American boy. But I think I've got to side with Ty and Connor Griffin. And it's not any fault of yours, Jorge.
I'll take it. I got broad shoulders.
You're
Fuck you.
you're an angle that I hadn't considered until just a few minutes ago when I brought it up. I think your side's handicapped by the fact that there is another highly touted pitching prospect who has already shown flashes of greatness in Bubba Chandler. You can lock up Connor. Bubba's a little bit younger than Paul. You can lock him up too for a lot cheaper than you can him. I think that's the safer route to go in building a potential championship squad with a lot less money to work with than teams out of Chicago or LA or New York.
I agree. I mean, to be fair, I was fighting for Skenes, but Ty, I agree, and Storms, I agree with you. And Storms, we talked about this before we came on the show. Um,
I was really hoping Ty would tell me that on the phone that he wanted to go with Skenes so I could make you both argue against what you wanted, but that didn't happen.
I was so indecisive.
we were talking about it, Ty, before we came on, and I was talking to him on the phone, is you can lock up Griffin now. You can let Skenes pitch out his rookie contract. And maybe extend him a year, if not two, like you said, Storms, if that's what he wants. But at the time that Skenes becomes a free agent, there's a lot of marquee pitchers that are going to be free agents. And you could sign them for the money that you would give Skenes now then. So you don't necessarily have to sign an ace, or you can sign an ace, if you know what I mean, like a true number two starter to go right behind Chandler, like you just said, Storms. And
Yeah.
giving a shortstop 9 years, 140 million, when we've seen that work, like I said, with the Braves, Albies, Harris, Acuna, we've seen it work over there. It works because at the end of the day, it's a business for these guys to sign these people for less money, and they take it. That's how you build a franchise.
Mariners, Brewers are doing it too right now.
Right. Right. I agree. Hey, Storms, that was a good segment, bro. I like that, man. We definitely we're gonna do that again.
This or that. I like
Yeah,
it.
I like that. I like that. So how about let's talk about a team that you have on your shirt, Storms. The Reds, surprising some people here to start in the Central there, man. How do you feel about your team right now? What do you think? Give me a couple of things they need to improve on and something that you're actually surprised at that they're doing really well.
Well, up until yesterday and today, they set a franchise record for the most games without an error to start the season, and tied the record for the second longest streak. Which actually interesting. The first longest streak and the second one that they tied were both set in 2022. The Pirates hold the record with 16 games. And who did they tie at 11 games? I think the Twins, maybe.
Mm.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's the defensive play has been the most surprising thing to me. Last season they were near the bottom in almost every defensive metric. So it's been really nice to see some solid defense behind the what we already knew was going to be a very solid pitching staff. Um, some people might say the bullpen, but I told you guys before the season started that the bullpen was going to be a strength this year. So I'm not surprised about that at all. And things that need to improve. Um, well, we are currently, I believe, 28th in run production.
Mm.
So that's the easy answer. What has been nice though is we have now gotten RBIs out of 10 different hitters through 12 games. Or no, I'm sorry, 9. But so they're not hitting a lot, but the production is coming from almost everywhere in the lineup,
Yeah.
which is an encouraging thing to see, and bodes well for once some of these guys do get their bats going. Sal Stewart's been the only guy really in the lineup that's hitting consistently, and for us to be 8-4 and only have one reliable offensive threat, I think speaks volumes to both the defensive play and how absolutely incredible the pitching has been to this point.
And that's without your ace.
Yeah.
That's
Without Hunter Green or Lodolo. Lodolo should be back soon, but Green's not going to be back till the All-Star break. But today was the first game the Reds have lost in a game pitched by Rhett Lauder or Chase Burns, and that's really big.
Yeah, you guys are good. We're gonna kick it over to the West now. West side, what's up, Ty? Whatever that shirt you got, LA.
Hey,
Well, your team's looking out there, man?
I mean, I have no complaints. But there's a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie. One of my coworkers, who's diehard Dodgers hater and Diamondbacks fan, is like, "You guys don't win the championship this year, then it was the biggest bust in history. Like we have to win it, or it was all for nothing." So we have to eat that. We have to swallow that. Uh, I will say this: Blue Jays definitely shocked me. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't expect it because we came out so strong game one. I mean, doing what we do best, putting up runs on the board, dominant pitching. And they came back and showed that they still can get it out the mud in walk-off fashion too, and that hurt. So while I'm ready, to join everybody and say we have to be this juggernaut at 9-2, I'm happy. Diaz is looking great. Tucker is, blending right in. Freeman is picked up, after kind of like a little couple questionable starts and, not getting the hits that he wanted. Mookie, I hope, you get better and get back to us soon. Health is going to be the wealth, but one thing I don't question about the Dodgers, as we've won the NL West 12 out of the last 13 years, we know how to navigate a 162 game season, and we've shown that. So it's all about, getting through this season, taking that crown, and when October comes, we'll be ready. I
Well,
hope.
you can talk about the superstars all you want, but the one thing that the Dodgers do better than everybody else is depth.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. I'm not gonna talk about my Mets much. Their starting pitching is doing fine. Peralta, he's looking good for them. McLean is looking fantastic. Another outing to where he had, I believe, 8 Ks today when 6 innings pitched. Their starting pitching looks good, which I thought was going to be their downfall. But it's still early. The bullpen's all right. Timely hitting. Bo Bichette still got to get going. Roberts Jr. is having a phenomenal first 2 weeks. He looks like he's back to his 21 or 22 year form. He looks
Clay
like
Holmes will be back in the bullpen any day now.
possibly, but
I'm never letting that go.
with with the Mets is a wait and see type thing because their roster switched up, and I like their approach at the plate though. They're not swinging for the fences. They're putting the ball in play a lot more small ball, station to station. I do like that a lot, and as you know here at the Dish, we promote that a lot because you're not going to win championships just straight up hitting home runs. That's not going to happen. But let me ask you guys actually, what team?
Hold up, before that though,
Yeah,
because I gotta get this in just because I thought it was so just shocking but funny at the same time. What's with Bo Bichette getting booed?
I knew you were gonna
Had
bring.
to. I had to.
Man, listen,
I'm gonna call him Boo Bichette now.
The first homestand of the year, he deserved it because he was trying too much. He
He
was
was
swinging
like 0
at
for
everything.
12 or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. And he was swinging at everything. He wasn't looking good. We all know Bo Bichette is one of the best hitters in baseball, runners in scoring position. And he said it after the homestand. He said, I wanted to have my Mets moment. And he was just stressing. But,
Well, and somebody asked him about it, and he was like, if anything, I thought it took too long
right, that's
before he
exactly what he
started
said.
getting booed.
That's exactly what he said. And I mean, he's gotten it right since. He looks a lot better. So he's gonna hit his stride. I'm not worried about that. But my question to you guys, whether good or bad, what's the biggest surprise as far as team goes this year? Whether it's good record, bad record, what do you think is the biggest surprise? Ty, I'll throw it over to you. Whether you want to go good or bad, it's up to you.
Actually, you know what? I mean, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I mean, they're not, coming out the gate like strong, strong, but they've caught my eye. The Angels, man. Um, they've, shown themselves to be scrappy. And, I did not expect, this kind of like, there's some games they could have won, and they're one game out of being, 500. I mean, I expected them to probably be one of the worst teams in baseball.
Mm.
And I'll even say this: Trout came out looking like like Trout, and I'm like, is he in his prime again? Is he going to be healthy for a change? And how long is it going to last before ultimately his health does what it always does? But I mean, he came out, like I'm here and I'm back. So shout out to whatever's going on in the Angel Land.
Didn't he hit
That's the thing, man. I'm here for it, but you know, fucking holler at me in June.
All
didn't
right, well, all right. So hold up though. Are the Mariners just that? Because we know that Julio is like, the man when it comes post All-Star break, and is it a case of okay, it's just the beginning of the season? Trust me, when we get to the dog days of summer, the Angels aren't going to take a series from the Mariners. And let's be clear here: the Mariners had to go to extra innings just to pull out one of those games. So
Mhm.
This early in the season, I am not gonna give my surprise to any poor performing team.
Right.
Um, I think this early in the season, the only thing you can be surprised by is a shitty team playing really well.
so if the
Like,
Angels beat the Reds, because that's the next series, eh? Eh?
nah, it's in Cincinnati.
Look,
um,
the thing with Trout
well,
and
actually, barring this man doing this again, no.
the thing with Trout is we've gone and learned, and as much as I loved DeGrom, it was just a matter of time. It was the same thing. It was just like, okay, when is it gonna happen? And see, the Mets are doing something smart with Luis Jr. or Luis Robert Jr. They're not playing him 3 days in a row because he's had a lot of leg injuries. So they're playing him. They'll play him maybe two and then sit him to third. I think it's time for Trout to get on a similar program, man. I mean, not because he has had a lot of leg injuries, but there's no reason to put him out there every 3 days or 3 days in a row when he's having a hot start, like you said, Ty. Like you got to keep him in the lineup. That's the only way to do it. You got to manage it, just like they do in the NBA. So I would do that at the very least. Give him, make stretch out his career, not even his career, his season, I guess you can say, right?
Let's
Well,
keep it small. Season.
right. Let's focus to what we're at right now, the season. What do you got, Storms? What's your surprise, man?
My surprise, I don't. I'm not going to give it to an entire team, but I'm going to give it to the Colorado Rockies offense. Um, those boys are hitting the ball, man. Holy crap! And they just swept the Astros. who have scored the second most runs in Major League Baseball so far, even after that sweep. So that tells you, and, and obviously their pitching played well in that series. But Troy Johnston, do you guys know anything about that guy's story?
No.
No, I can't. I
So
do.
he and he's a utility sort of player for Colorado, but 2 years ago he was out of baseball. He had job interviews lined up, um, and his girlfriend convinced him to go down to the Dominican, play some winter ball, and he said he fell back in love with baseball. It reignited his passion for the game. He came back home and he got a contract with the Rockies and still ended up I think I think it's time to do something else, and she convinced him to go back to spring training, and now I think he's got like 7 or 8 hits in the last 4 games, a couple of home runs. Like, I
Wow.
mean, and I'd have to look at the actual numbers, but I think he's got like 7 or 8 RBIs already. Like, this kid is tearing it up, and he had one foot out the door already.
Mm.
You know, just I don't know. It's just a cool story. Somebody lost his passion for the game and was able to get it back, and he was saying he still has some of that Dominican spirit in him from playing down there, and the atmosphere, and we talked about this. Baseball is our game, but we don't love it like Latinos love it.
Mm. No, I
There's
don't
some
know.
truth to
And
that. That's a word.
it, man, I I've never been to a Dominican Winter League game, but it is on my bucket list. And just having seen it on TV a few times because it's hard to find a broadcast here in the States. I'm not surprised at all that having played one season down there is something that sticks with him.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. To me, well, that's a cool story, so much. First of all, anybody listening out there, don't never stop chasing your dreams because you never know when or what can happen. And to me, my big surprise is freaking the Tigers. 4-9 and losing their last five. Skubal is 1-2 with a 2.5 ERA.
Yeah, that'll be
Valdez is 1-1 with a over 4.5 ERA. He's getting beat up. And I mean, don't put too much into it. I mean, we're 13 games in, but so far that's my surprise. They're gonna get it right. They're
If
gonna
this was an NFL season, week one just ended.
not even. You know what I mean? It's like the last week of preseason, I guess you can say. You know what I mean? But it's take it for what it is. They're last in the division right now. We say it all the time. You can't win the division in April, but
But you can damn sure lose it.
you can definitely fall the hell out of it, and you'll never catch up with that ground. But all right, Ty, I mean, I'm gonna throw it over to you. We've been on almost a minute. Is there anything you want to touch on that you want to speak about with the boys here while we talk baseball?
You know what? I'll throw another shutout, and it's not to stay with the West Coast bias, but I'll switch it over to the NL West. I have been impressed with what I've seen from the local ball club and the D-backs outside of their tendency to blow games in the bullpen sometimes. They've shown themselves to be scrappy as usual, and they had a hard schedule coming out the gate. Like,
Mm.
you got the Dodgers, and then you have the Tigers, and you have the Braves, and then you have the Mets right now. Uh, Not the easiest schedule to start off the season, but to be 6-6 and those four teams I just mentioned, like, that's impressive. So I'll give them, a tip of the cat, uh, and that's all I got for 'em.
That's about as much love as Ty is gonna give the Diamondbacks over there. Storms. Oh, there you are. Storms, is there something you want to say and just talk with the boys before we head on out?
Yeah, there was something I told you earlier I was going to say on air. I want this to be on wax. The Cincinnati Reds are going to win the NL Central. And this is going to happen because I don't think that the Chicago Cubs, as much as Alex Bregman brings to that locker room, that clubhouse, and as much of a driving force as he is behind every team he is on, Cade Horton, you could argue, was the best pitcher in the National League in the second half of the season last year. I don't think that Chicago can overcome losing him for the season. I think they can overcome that and make the playoffs. I don't think they can overcome that and win the division. And if it's not the Reds, it's going to be Milwaukee.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Pirates.
I
Man,
told
if
I
that's the
told you,
case,
man, they're building something special there in the Steel City, but it's not gonna happen this year.
All right, Ty. I want to throw out a couple things to rebuttal Storms, and I want you to give me a rebuttal to his team winning the division. The Cubs, they have two aces right now, Edwin Cabrera, Shada, and they're gonna get Steele back, which is an amazing pitcher to go right behind those two. Bregman is still there. PCA is still there. They have a lineup to put up runs. They have a good aces, like I said in the beginning, and then still got to get healthy, and we know what he can do. What do you think? Chicago's going to come back and win that division? Who did you pick to win the division, first of all, Ty? Did you pick the
I
Cubs?
do believe I picked Chicago.
Okay, Storms, who did you pick initially?
I picked the Cubs originally.
Okay, Ty, give me a rebuttal to what he just said about them winning the division.
So I'll say this. I wanted to say this so bad, and it's so fast as a joke. But you could put it on wax, like Storm said. In order for the Reds to win the division, I say Stewart, Ellie, and probably Taylor Stevenson have to each hit 40 plus home runs.
Damn. Damn.
I respectfully disagree, sir.
That was an exaggeration. It's more like 30 apiece, probably.
Probably.
I disagree with that too, but that actually is pretty possible. If Ellie's not dealing with a quad injury the whole second half, he's not going to have a power outage like he did last year. I also still think that Matt McClain is going to have a big bounce back year now that he's a couple years removed from that shoulder injury.
So,
And Marte, once he gets going, he swung one of the hottest bats on the planet for 2 months last year. In the second half of the season, there's a lot to be excited about in Cincinnati. It does because of the long term loss of Hunter Green. It does kind of have to all come together, and we can't have more than a few like really bad breaks, but I don't know. It probably just the fan in me, but it feels like the year with Chicago being weakened like that. So
I like it. I don't care. I'm good with it. And if I'm not good with it, fuck it, it's your pick. And I mean, to be honest, we talked about this on a previous show on the scene where we recorded it there. The Central is probably the hardest division in baseball because of
right now, for right now.
yeah.
Oh, the other thing
Well,
is Reese Hines totally revamped his approach at the plate and is absolutely mashing in AAA and may force their hand sooner than later and be back up by May. And if that does happen, that's another guy that can add 30 home runs.
So this was a division in which, let's say, let's say 3 years ago, the Pirates were the Pirates. Nobody cared about them. They played them and usually take 2 or 3, or split the series and go on about their business. Now the Pirates are going to be a huge X factor in this division and have a huge say as far as who will win the division. And that says a lot for this division because before it wasn't that way. And the Cubs being 6-6 right now, being last in the division, and with the team they have, even if they end up last, they're gonna have a lot to say about this division as well. So we got to definitely we're gonna keep an eye on this for the rest of the year. But guys, we've been on here almost an hour. Storms, I'll throw it over to you. What's your closing thoughts, brother?
That was actually it. I was supposed to be saving that for my closing thought. So, um, shit. Like I said, just happy to be back and to be starting to do this with regularity again.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So Ty, excuse me, what you gotta say?
Liking that, there seems to be a lot of parity in baseball. Despite the fact that my team is the villain and the juggernaut, it seems there's a lot of teams to can catch us on a bad day or a bad stretch, and there's a lot of talent in baseball. The changing of the guard is here. Shout out to all of the young rookies and young players that are showing up and showing out in the show.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Baseball is in good hands for real with these young studs, man.
Mhm.
And if you guys haven't seen our show and you're watching it for the first time all the way through, go ahead and give us a like, a follow, The Dish 463 here on YouTube, The Dish 463 on TikTok, The Dish on Facebook. Come rip your team. Even if you don't show up a lot, just come rip a team. We talk a lot of shit. We have a lot of fun. It's baseball year. It's baseball season, excuse me. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon, as we all know. Your team could be looking good for 2 weeks, take a shit for a month, and never recover. It's baseball. It is what it is. That's why you got to watch the entire 162. So while you're doing that, come join us and talk some baseball and have some fun, right, guys? So we'll see you guys in the next one. Later.